There are moments on live television that stop you mid-scroll, mid-sip, mid-whatever you were doing, and this was one of them. Ben Shephard has always carried himself with a particular kind of quiet strength on Good Morning Britain. He's the sort of presenter who makes the difficult conversations feel manageable, the heavy headlines feel a little lighter. So when he becomes the story, when the man usually asking the questions finds himself on the other side of that emotional equation, viewers notice. They really notice. The word catastrophic is not a word Ben Shephard uses lightly. That's worth sitting with for a moment. This is someone who interviews politicians, who holds his composure through breaking news, who navigates grief and controversy on live television before most of us have finished breakfast. For him to choose that word, catastrophic, to describe what his body has been through, many viewers felt something shift almost immediately. It wasn't just the language. It was the quiet weight behind it. What struck so many people watching wasn't simply the health update itself, but the way Ben approached it. There's something quietly remarkable about a person who spends so much of their professional life in service to other people's stories suddenly having to tend to their own. And yet, the way he carried it, with honesty, with a kind of grounded vulnerability, felt deeply human in a way that morning television rarely manages. Some people watching began to reflect on how little we sometimes consider what's happening behind the smile on screen. Presenters like Ben become part of the fabric of our mornings. We see them so regularly, so reliably, that it's easy to forget they exist beyond that studio, beyond that sofa, beyond that camera, that they carry their own fears and recoveries and hard days just like everyone else. The moment appeared to hint at something larger than just a physical injury. It touched on resilience, on how people cope publicly with private struggles, on the strange reality of being someone whose job requires presence and warmth even when life is pulling hard in the opposite direction. Viewers online interpreted the exchange as something genuinely moving, not performative, not promotional, but real. And there's something about the GMB studio in these quieter, more personal moments that amplifies everything. It strips away the noise of the news cycle and suddenly it's just a person, a story, and an audience listening. The atmosphere in those segments tends to change. The pacing slows. The energy shifts. Many viewers noticed that quality in this moment, that the usual rhythm of the morning gave way to something that asked a little more from everyone in the room. There's also a conversation worth having about what it means for someone like Ben to openly discuss injury and recovery in this way. It almost seemed as though beyond the personal update, there was an unspoken message about the importance of taking your health seriously, about not dismissing what your body is telling you. Whether that was the intention or not, it's what some audiences took away. And that kind of resonance. That's what separates a segment people forget by lunchtime from one they're still thinking about on the drive home. What stays with you isn't necessarily the clinical detail of the injury. It's the honesty, the willingness to say, this was serious, this was hard, and here I am. Still talking to you, still showing up. Maybe that's why the reaction was so warm. Because in a media landscape that often rewards polish over truth, a moment of genuine vulnerability from someone we've welcomed into our mornings for years carries a different kind of weight entirely. What did you take away from Ben's update? Did it land differently for you than a typical interview? Drop it in the comments, because I have a feeling a lot of people felt something they haven't quite put into words yet.